Hey everybody, it's Dr. Mondo, and we are here for a very special broadcast. I'm so excited to be here tonight. If you guys are wondering why we're here on a Monday night, don't worry, you didn't get your days mixed up. Rewriting Your Story with Dr. Mondo is, of course, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. East Coast time, or excuse me, 9 p.m. East Coast time. But today we have a very special broadcast, and this is a broadcast that I think everyone needs to really tune in for. You know, there's a lot of people that watch our show each week, and they watch it because they're motivated by the weight loss transformation stories. They hear people, they see people's transformation. Some people have lost up to 300 pounds. Some of those people have kept it off and defied the odds and the statistics by keeping it off for a long time. But the reality is a lot of people watch the program because they're not in those shoes. A lot of people watch the program because they're looking for motivation. A lot of people watch the program because they lost weight, but they started gaining it back, or they've gained it all back. And they feel like this space is one of the only spaces that we have where we can actually have the uncomfortable conversation with compassion about the reality of the matter, which is so many people right now around the country are struggling to not just lose the weight, but to keep it off long term. And if this is your first time tuning into this broadcast, again, I'm Dr. Mondo, and what I'm here to basically tell you is that you are not alone. You're not alone because so much of what we know is that for a long time, we've only been treating the symptom of obesity, and we have not been treating the root cause of why your relationship with food causes you to overeat, and why for some of us, we tie too much of our self-esteem and our self-worth to the number on the scale. If anyone out there can relate to that, give me a wow, give me a like, give me something. Let me know that I'm barking up the right tree here tonight. I'm so excited. I see the viewers logging on here tonight. I see you, Pat. Ashley's on. Guys, tonight I'm here for you guys. Look, if anyone can relate to what it's like to have lost weight but gained some of it back, please comment below and tell me your story. You don't have to give me the whole story. Just give me a little bit to know that we're on the right track here tonight. I have a sneaky suspicion that there's a lot of people tuning in right now that are going to relate to the courage and the bravery they hear from the woman that is brave enough to come on this show tonight to talk about her journey and not just losing the weight, but also in gaining some of it back. Now, here's the crazy thing about this is that there are so many people right now that watch this broadcast and they're gaining weight back, or they've gained it all back. Few of them will actually reach out when the weight's starting to come back on. The woman that we'll talk to tonight has lost over 100 pounds. She has not gained all the weight back. She's gaining some of the weight back. Now that's a common occurrence, but here's what's uncommon: her response. Typically, people's response to gaining the weight back is to go into hiding, to isolate themselves, to feel shame and to feel anxiety. And then you know what happens next, right? The shame, the anxiety kicks in, and then you start to avoid people and places that you used to go, including the same gym community that you lost the weight in. You don't want to go to the gym anymore. You don't want to see people anymore. You want to remove the feature where people can tag you automatically in Facebook pictures because you don't want anyone to see that you're starting to gain a little of the weight back. You don't want to see it. And then all those feelings of shame and anxiety and guilt, what do? You eat those feelings away because food's been your comforter your whole life. So you go right back to the same arms of the comforter that unfortunately led you to being overweight. And now it's the very thing that's keeping you feeling some semblance of safety in all the fear and anxiety that you have as you begin to gain some of the weight back. Most people do not do what this woman that I'm going to talk with tonight is doing. They don't raise their hand and say, I'm struggling, I need help. They don't reach out or reach back to a gym owner, the same gym environment where they lost the weight, and said, yeah, I was one of your success stories and I'm still one of your success stories, but I need more support and help. So tonight you're going to hear the uncommon response, not just from the person that's going through the weight loss transformation, but the uncommon response from the gym owner who's in that gym, who sees the success story and actually has enough compassion and a big enough heart to want to not just help someone be a before and after photo on the wall, but to actually help them succeed long-term. That doesn't just want to help them get another before and after photo, but actually wants to help them address their self-esteem, their self-worth, help them understand and empower them that they can rewrite their story, they can change their relationship with food. So tonight is a night full of uncommon responses. And I guess the third uncommon response is a therapist, myself, who's being included in this conversation with a gym owner and with someone who attends a gym. All this stuff's uncommon, but we're here tonight to do the uncommon because we know that what we've done in the past simply isn't working. So tonight, I get the honor and the privilege of talking to the owner, and we'll start with the owner, and then we're going to bring in the real star of tonight, the courageous woman who will be sharing her story. But I'm going to talk to that gym owner who had the not so normal response to the situation. I want to know why. There's a lot of people that own gyms out there, but why take the time to actually go a step further and not just say you care, but show that you care with your actions? Why take the time to be here tonight? I'm going to speak with a gym owner from Cloud 10 Transformation Centers in the DC, Baltimore area. And Joe, who I'll be inviting on the screen in a minute, will get a chance to share with his story, and then we're going to get a chance to welcome on one of the members of his gym, and she'll share her story. Tonight's episode is about slaying shame. This tour that we're doing around the country, this program, this Facebook Live that we're doing, this is about slaying shame. If you are in isolation right now and you feel like you've been counted out, if you're in isolation feeling guilty, ashamed, feeling embarrassed that you gained some of the weight back, speaking of that, here we have someone, it was Carrie Ann Cabello said, it's embarrassing. That's why we don't share, or we don't reach out when we're struggling. It's embarrassing. Tonight, first of all, you are so right. I've been there myself. I've gained and lost the same 80 pounds 8 times. I stopped counting before I kept it off for good. So it is embarrassing. I totally agree with your comment. And yeah, part of the embarrassment is what keeps us from saying something out loud. So how amazing is it that tonight we're doing something different? I have someone else here that says, Jai says, that was my life for years. So maybe this has been your life for years. You guys know what it's like. For years, you've had this struggle. So tonight, if you've ever had shame for your weight or for your appearance, or you feel that shame right now and you feel like you're not worth it, you feel like you have no business showing up in the gym, you're embarrassed, you've been in hiding, tonight's the night to get out of hiding. We have solutions for you. And the first solution is just showing up here tonight and being inspired. Secondly, we're going to have some other announcements tonight about what we're doing in your specific area, DC, about how we can help you and we can empower you and we can help you come out of hiding and give you solutions. So, with that, I'm so excited to get tonight going. As you can see, we have some cool new features. If you have the ability to share this broadcast, may you please share this right now. We need it to share like wildfire. We need this message of positivity to spread. But if you also are able to comment in, don't worry. But if you have a question or a comment that we can actually get that on the screen and showcase that. And so there's a lot of cool techniques that we could be using tonight to really show technology that we have at our fingertips. So we'll do that tonight. But without further ado, I want to first welcome on the gym owner, Joe Buabang. And Joe, I want Joe to just go ahead and join this broadcast, and he'll be joining right now. And, Joe, as we bring you on to camera, first of all, how are you doing tonight, man?
I'm beautiful, man. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah. Doing so good, man. Just tell me why, man. Like, why tonight are you doing what you're doing and taking the time to help people in the way that you are and help your gym community?
Well, community is really, really important to me. And the business of transformation can be frustrating at times. I've been, fortunate enough to be able to change so many lives as far as weight loss. But the defining moment is always the ones that cannot keep it off. And again, on our Facebook Live last week, I shared with you an incident that happened with a lady that we helped drop about 70 pounds. We thought we were doing all the right things. We thought we were doing, we changed her life. She's losing the weight. She's seizing her life back. And the unthinkable happened. She walks into my office crying, emotional, and said to me, Joe, I don't know if I'm actually deserving of this weight loss. And at that point, I was stunned because as a gym owner, as a fitness professional, I thought I've done everything in my power to make sure I can get a weight off. And to hear that was so powerful. But I mean, what do I do at that point? How am I able to help this person? So, that was the defining moment for me when I realized, okay, this is more internal than external. We can handle the external anytime. We're good in nutrition. We're good at the weight training aspect of it. We're good about transforming the human body. But what happens to the internal issues that people are dealing with? And that's basically the reason why this is so important to me, because in fact, ever since I've been doing this, I can tell you how many lives have changed. But the number that I cannot quantify is how many people are actually struggling internally to keep this weight off. I don't know that, and I may never, ever know that. But my job as a fitness professional is to do my part and try to bridge the gap between nutrition, weight training, and also the mindset and internal aspect of the transformation process.
It sounds like it really touches your heart, man. Does it really impact you? Does it affect you emotionally to know that people are struggling?
It does, not only for me, but for the people that we surround ourselves with, as far as our coaches, our leadership team, the trainers, everyone that kind of band together to make sure this transformation would make this a movement. And it never feels good to feel like you've done everything in your power, but in hindsight, you really haven't done anything. And that's what it feels like. It's not a good feeling, because my job is the goal is to transform people's lives, right? And if I cannot have people completely happy, and I may not ever be able to do that, but it's still not going to stop me from trying. It's still not going to stop me from finding the gaps in the program and try to close it up. And that's what this program is all about.
Love it, man. Yeah. I really want to just highlight that, man. I feel it in your voice. I could see it in your face as you were sharing that. I mean, actions speak louder than words. You're here. And so your actions show that you care. I don't know if I'll give people a vantage point into this really quick. I get a chance to work with some gym owners around this country. There's one common denominator. Each and every one of them is so busy, it's insane. Joe, are you a busy guy?
Oh my God, it's been the last few months have been,
just in general.
It's just
man.
I'm busy. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Very busy guy. So when Joe takes his time and his energy to be somewhere, that means something. And so I just want to point that out, because it's really easy to play Sunday or Monday morning quarterback when you go to a gym. I've been to gyms. I've done it myself. We could sit back and we could say, oh, well, they should do this. They should do that. What goes on behind the scenes is that gym owners are under a lot of pressure. I feel for all 20 or 25 of my clients. Joe's got, thousands of people that he probably feels in some way responsible for or wants to help.
And I feel like I've failed a lot of them. And it's never a good feeling.
You feel like you have? Why? Just because you see them struggling?
I see them struggle, and the reality is that most people do not get to the point where they basically are honest with themselves and come to the realization that, hey, I need help. And that's really what we're trying to fix here. That we want people to be vulnerable and share their story. That there's always a way we can help, but they need to reach out, or we need to reach out, however way it works.
Yeah. So again, I just I want to commend you, man, for being here tonight, for showing up, for making the time. I hear your heart, and if some of your community doesn't know me, just basically, I'm a therapist who has researched this stuff, and I've gone through weight loss transformation myself. Lost the same 80 pounds 7 or 8 times, as I mentioned earlier, and I get it. I know what it's like. I grew up as an overweight kid. I get all of it, and I really believe that what we need to do is we need to partner up in order to be successful. I mentioned this on our last broadcast. I cannot give you nutrition and diet advice, but Joe can, and exercise advice. And at the same time, I think my lane is one to help with the emotional side. If we all work together, I think we can really help people. And so that's what we're here trying to do tonight. And that's why I'm so excited to be partnering up with you, man, and be helping your community. And I know tonight's story that we're gonna jump into right now, of Amy's story, means a lot to you. And in many ways, without her sharing it, you wouldn't be here tonight, or we wouldn't have this opportunity. So I'm just really glad that she did lead with vulnerability, as you mentioned, because that is so important.
Yeah, Amy, I can't. It takes a lot to be able to do this, and for her to actually come on Facebook Live, share her story with the whole world, with the people that she was in the trenches with while losing the weight, it's got to be a huge deal for her. But she's taken a step. You know, she's taking her life back and trying to do something about it. So Amy is awesome. She's funny. She's a great person, and I can't wait to help her, break boundaries.
Yep. And Amy's coming on tonight right now. We're gonna bring her on the camera here just in about 90 seconds. Amy's coming on the program here tonight because she's basically standing up for everyone. So this is Amy's story, but this is not just Amy's story. This is your story. This is my
all
story.
Of our story. Absolutely.
This is all of our stories. And so when you hear Amy's story tonight, guys, I want you to do me a favor. If you resonate with any of it, please share that. You could share it by liking and all that other emoji stuff, but I would really love it if you could follow her lead of vulnerability and sharing why it resonates with you. If there's certain struggles you need answers to, leave those in the comments right now, and we will get to those too throughout tonight. And we will, again, the good news is that we have solutions. So tonight we're going to talk with Amy about her story, and at the end, Joe and I are going to talk about actual tangible programs, solutions that we have, that we know to help out Amy and to help out others. And so with no further ado, I just want to bring Amy on to camera here now. And again, if you guys are just tuning in, we are talking about slaying shame here on tonight's broadcast. And Amy is here with us on screen. So Amy, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing great. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you feeling? Is this a little nerve-wracking at all, or?
It is, because I just saw myself pop up on the screen over there.
Yeah,
there I am.
Okay, now it's real. Yeah.
Let
me give you guys a little backstory too. Amy and I just got a chance to talk for the first time this morning. So we're brand new in terms of getting a chance to know each other. So a lot of the questions that I'll be asking her tonight, really is for me to get a chance just to get to know her a little bit better and to help her kind of be set up on a tee to share her story. So Amy, tell people, a little bit about your story and in your journey. Has weight always been a struggle, or was it more of a recent thing? Or I know you lost a ton of weight. So yeah, tell people your story a little bit.
So I came to Cloud 10 in July of 2016. But my backstory is I have been overweight since I was little. I was little. I was little when I was born. I was cute and little. I'm still cute, but
I love it.
But I was overweight my whole life. So in 4th grade, I remember very clearly I had to journal my food at lunchtime, after lunchtime, right? So you can imagine being 9 or 10 years old and having to come in from recess and journaling it.
Oh my God.
So
Talk
I
about
saw
an act of shame. Yeah.
Right. So I saw a pediatrician, and she was teeny tiny. This pediatrician that I had to do that for. So it's always been something that I've struggled with. So in July of 2016, I joined Cloud 10, and I lost 110 pounds. It took me a little under a year to lose 100. Then it took a little longer to lose the next 10. But more recently, I started to gain some of it back. I still go work out. We have a great
Good.
community. So, but you see it in the pictures. Actually, one of the leads of one of the gyms, who shall remain nameless, I know she saw my picture and suggested to Joe maybe I needed to come have a conversation. And I love her for it. She, but it is part of what we do. We do everything publicly. That was part of being part of the transformation, the 6-week transformations. Anyways, you had to publicly put, he calls it skin in the game, right? Skin in the game. So you do it publicly. So when you do something publicly, everything's public. So it's really about having that conversation. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell.
And yeah, thank you for sharing that. And so tonight, why say yes? Why say yes? So many people, again, I know people are saying hi to you, Diane, Bianca. There's some people that are saying hello to you, but it would be so easy, I think, to just decline this invitation and say, I think I'm good. Why did you say yes to coming on and sharing your story tonight?
Well, I think things happen. You get opportunities in your life at times where you need them, right? So I said that to Trudy. She's the manager of the gym, of one of Joe's gyms that I go to. And I said, it's the right time. And when opportunities present itself, you need to take them, right? And it is something, there's a lot of shame for larger women. I will tell you, it's a different story for large guys, very different story for large men. And Joe could attest to that in our gym, very compared to large women, right? And so I think that's really important, that there's large women that have a conversation about it. It's just a different journey for us as females than it is for men. And I think that that's something that is important to me. I started to do a 5K program with a local TV station for the same reason, because you need to see people who look like you. We all know the statistics around women, around the average size woman in America. It's not teeny tiny, right? So let's have the conversation about it. Now, we all want to be healthy though. So I want to be healthy, and I want to go back to the things I was doing. I did have knee surgery in December, but that's not why I've gained weight. It's not the knee surgery. But it's just about you just have to talk about it. Why are we not talking about it? So let's talk about it. So I guess I'm here to talk about it. I'll let you know how I feel tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like going to the gym and really having a hard workout. When Joe kicks your butt, you'll let him know how you feel tomorrow, right? To tell you whether or not it's worth going through that workout. Yeah. Do you think, and Joe, I'll have you jump in here in a second, but I got a question for Amy. Amy, do you think that it's crazy to say that some of why, not just you, because I'm including myself in this, why we sometimes struggle post weight loss is that we return to old emotional eating habits? Do you think that's a crazy idea, or would you agree with that idea?
No, I don't think it's crazy, because I think it's a way you learn how to cope with things, especially if it's either something you've done when you were little or as an adult, right? I don't have the experience of being small and then becoming large. But if that's been something you've always gone to, or your family, like we would go on vacation and we'd be eating breakfast and we'd be talking about where we're having lunch and dinner. That was part of what we did, right? So food was always part of our social aspects and things we did. So there was joy around it. There was happiness around it. So when you are in stressful situations, or stress presents itself again, it's hard to not go back in those patterns. Just like any other person. I mean, what's your food of choice? You can have a food of choice. You can have activities of choices. You can have drugs of choices. People do a lot of things to self-soothe. Right. So it's kind of figuring out, though, I can know this all cognitively, right? Obviously, but how do you change in that pattern?
Yep, and that's what we're here to kind of talk about. Now, do you feel like at a certain point that therapy is helpful or would be helpful for someone in their journey?
I think that everybody should be willing to do what they feel is best for themselves, right? So I don't judge people either way, but it's important to talk to people who are unbiased or really don't have they're not going to win or lose anything from that victory. They're there to help you find what you want. So I would think that that's something that would be very helpful for many people. But again, some people, culturally, It's not acceptable in a lot of families. It's not acceptable in certain parts of our society. So it's, again, deciding that's different. I tell people I work with, families I work with, if that's what works, I know that might be not your comfort level, but if that's what works for your child, then that's what you need to give them. You wouldn't not give them crutches if they had a broken leg, right? So you have to be willing to give people what they need. Or as an adult, you need to be able to take what you need, figure out what that is.
Yeah. Yeah, Joe, do you think that there's a big stigma still, like even within the gym world, about helping people with the emotional side of things like we're trying to do here tonight?
I believe so. I think is, again, going back to being embarrassed. Who actually wants to sit with somebody, a stranger, and actually talk about what the internal issues are, and it can stem from childhood, which most people are not willing to talk about. So it's a big ask to actually tell people, hey, you may or you might need therapy, unless you actually, step in your purpose and walk in your truth and be like, okay, I really do need this help. So I'm going to go ahead and take it. It's a challenge for us as fitness professionals, and we never, ever want to tell anybody you might need therapy, because that's not our job, right? So it's a challenge for us, for sure.
Yeah. And I was going to say, I don't know if it's so much embarrassing for the individuals, but people will shame you for it. Your family members shame it for you, it's just like weight gaining, right? People will shame you even though they say they support you, but we all know that there's always people who say they support you who don't support you.
How would they shame you? Give an example of that so people can, I'm sure they can relate to that, but yeah.
So if you told your family members, like, hey, I'm getting therapy because I want to work on this for myself, I'm seeing this pattern of behavior, your parent might say to you, like, why are you telling our personal business? Why are you talking about what's going on in your family out to some stranger? Because they are a stranger. But you wanted to tell your doctor if you're having some medical issues. So there's not a big difference, but there's a lot of stigma around it. But I think a lot of it has to do with other people's opinions versus, I'm sure there's people inside too. It's like finding the balance, and you have to have a good fit, right? It's just like finding the right trainer, finding the right yoga instructor, because if you don't match that energy, it's not going to work.
Right. Yeah. And that's really why I really enjoy having this community, because again, we have this tagline called community first, fitness second. Unless you have a real community that's really supporting you. And I always tell people, their incoming members, like, don't come to the gym and be a wallflower. Connect, talk to people, enjoy life. And that's what Amy does. Amy is constantly joking around, making friends, going out with members all the time. It's actually kind of annoying, but I love it. No, I'm kidding. No, but she's great. She's great. And you cannot change a lifestyle if you're just being a wallflower. You have to connect with other people. And that's the only way this can become a lifestyle.
Love that. We have a Portia who says, thumbs up, Amy, you're awesome. Thank you, Joe and Dr. Mondo, for doing this. So, Portia, Amy?
I do. She's one of our trainers. She used to be a member, but now she's a trainer. One of our trainers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. That's part of being part of that community. It's it's
if you guys are part of this Cloud 10 community, let's get it turned up a little bit in here and just kind of share a little bit of why you love Cloud 10 so much. And show some love to these two for being here tonight. Late at night, I should add too. What's that?
I say embellishes a little bit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Just a little bit. You've been a therapist to a lot of us, Joe. That's what Lydia says. She says, hey, you've been a therapist to a lot. Don't you think sometimes that she's right, though, that
my type of therapy is a little different.
Did you not read the second comment?
No, I did not.
You gave us harsh therapy, Joe.
I did. I'm the harsh therapist. I'm, in your face, kind of deal. But I know that doesn't always work for everyone. And so it took a while to actually pull back and be like, okay, Joe, you cannot be this hard-nosed person because everybody cannot deal with that. There are some people that love it, and there's also the population that cannot handle it. So I definitely had to find that balance.
Well, and I'll tell you, I can shed light on that. I think that, I think in general, how there's some people with coaching, Joe, like there are some people that you would say, or a lot of others need more of the encouragement. But when it comes to this whole thing with obesity, Amy, you can probably relate to this, like there's so much shame that we have in our society about weight that people are really sensitive. Like, even I've had people in my life who I know loved me so much. And when I was struggling, they tried to help me out and say something. Man, I chewed on that for weeks on end. I overanalyzed it because sometimes we could, Amy, right? Like, we could beat ourselves up so much in our head that when someone else tries to help us out, even if they're coming from a good spot, they're not doing anything wrong. It's just we're so hard on ourselves. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think we are. I'm harder on myself than anyone will ever be on me, and I find that in job too. But it's about building the relationship so you can give it. Like being a warm
That's right.
demander. We talk about it in equity training. You have to have that relationship, and you have high expectations. And when they meet together, the person will rise up to it. Patrice, who I was speaking about earlier, she's one of the trainers. She was my first trainer.
Awesome.
Oh, she would tell you, she'd give you the eye. But I knew she loved me, even though she didn't want to admit it, for a long time. But no, or Trudy, also Trudy's like, no, he's going to do it. But you have to know that on the back end, they're going to come back and talk to you about it and support you. So yes. Yeah. If you just have meanness, it doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think that but again, being open, like you said, Joe, and just saying, okay, with some people, and that's what I'll say. One of the things I talk about in the research a lot is if you grew up overweight, it's different than if you gained weight, say after an injury, or you gained weight later in life just because of a slower metabolism. And the reason being is that so much of your identity can be formed. Your self-worth, your self-esteem, your relationship choices can be formed a lot around what we call in research, we coined it in the Biggest Loser research, was a weight-saturated identity, which basically means that so much of who you are is defined by your weight or your number on the scale. And so that's why it can be really tough, is that if you grew up your entire life being overweight, and Amy, I'm curious if you found this, like if you went the majority of your life being overweight and then you lost 100+ pounds, that's a lot of change probably to go through in your world, including in your own identity, right?
It is. It's it's interesting because I was, even when I lost 110 pounds, I was still obese, right? Because I'm still over the acceptable weight according to doctors, right? Clearly over it. So I think what I found for myself was more, you just feel so much more fit, right? You feel more so fit, you can do so much more. And so you become proud of yourself for those accomplishments. So that mentality helped more. I was still clearly functioning inside of the world as a larger person. And so it's hard to say. I think I was more proud of the what I could do physically in my workouts and in that part of it. I don't think I'd made a transition, or I would make a transition, because I think I've had this conversation. I don't know that I've had it necessarily with Joe. No, I've had it with Trudy. I was never trying to be tiny, right? Or really small, or within the realm of what's supposed to probably be a healthy weight for the doctors. It was more about what I felt good at, because I do like to eat cake, and I'd like to eat cake once in a while. So unfortunately, I've eaten a little too much cake recently. So it's finding the balance between that. So I'm not sure if that answered the question, but I do understand what you're saying. I totally get it. I just don't know if I felt like that during the time.
Yeah. Well, it's funny you mentioned cake, because I always say this thing. I always say, it's not, there's more to the story than you just like cake. And I always say cake. So it's funny, people who say chalupas, taqueria, like all sorts of stuff, pizza, but you said cake. So it's funny. Would you agree with that though? Like, is that part of what maybe, do you feel like you've understood? Like for me, it was carnitas. And like, I had to come to grips with, there's more to my relationship with carnitas than the fact that I just like carnitas. Like, do you feel like you've understood why it is that you're so drawn to certain trigger foods and things like that? Or are you starting to figure that out right now?
I don't know that I've figured it out, because we probably wouldn't be having this conversation if I'd completely figured it out. Cognitively, I know when I'm stressed and when I'm choosing to eat. Like, I will say that's a change. Like, I'm aware now that if I'm stressed out and I'm choosing to eat at that moment, I still make a conscious, I will make a conscious decision to go ahead and eat it. Like I have protein shakes at my job. I have them ready to go. I have nut milk in my refrigerator. I have everything ready. So, but if I'm really stressed, I'm like, am I going to have that? Or am I going to go do this instead? And so I was better at doing the other for a while, and now I've kind of transitioned back to that. So I know that's not helpful, though. That's not going to help me out. So I'm trying to figure back together. I think we lost Dr. Mondo.
We lost Dr. Mondo for a second.
Oh, wait. He went to get cake. He went to get cake.
The cake just right. The timer rang right as you were in the middle of your story. Keep going. I just wanted to make sure it was still hot. The cake.
No, the cake. Yeah. As long as it's chocolate cake, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, so I just think that's it. I do now cognitively know when I'm doing it and I make the choice. I have been making the choice, but I know that's not the right choice because then I just get in a cycle like, oh, Amy, you were doing so well. You had the right breakfast, you had the right lunch, and then, oh, wait, you're going to have that instead. And it could be carnitas. It could be something else, but I don't typically eat cake in the middle of the day because I don't have cake at my job. But it's that whole concept of it. And then you feel like you wasted it. Yeah, Joe.
Is it always like in the back of your mind while you're eating the cake that you're going to pay for it, or does it actually come later?
No, there's times where I know that I'm going to pay for it, or I'm going to be like, oh, there you go, Amy. Now you're making that decision again. It doesn't matter that you went and worked at 5 a.m. It doesn't matter that tomorrow I'm getting up to go to the gym at 4 before I go to 5 a.m. boot camp. And you just spent 2 hours working out, and you're going to go eat that. Like, what are you thinking about? But the draw to doing that, the satisfaction from it, even though it's not necessarily satisfying, I will say that I have. I will stop eating something if I don't find it pleasurable in the same way, or if it doesn't taste good, which is something I never used to do. You would just keep eating it, right? But I do stop now. But no, I know when I'm doing it, Joe. And I know that I'm going to be like, I'm going to put myself back in that cycle. And then when someone posts a picture, you're like, and there it is.
So you still make that conscious decision to actually eat it, knowing the consequences.
I'm making the conscious decision now. I don't think I used to do that. And then there's times that you just feel overwhelmed and you're just like, I don't care. I'm just going to do this because at that moment, that's what I need to do. Even though I don't necessarily probably need to do that.
Right. So what allowed you to start becoming aware of that? Like I hear you saying in stage, when we go to change, a lot of times, as we progress to putting things into action, you can first be in this stage of just realizing it like you are. You're really noticing that there is some emotional driving forces that trigger your eating choices. What was it that turned the corner for you and allowed you to realize that?
Well, during my first challenge, I had a negative, what's it called? Mammogram, right? My first challenge. I was like 4 weeks in. I was like, for real? It was my first one. I'm like, seriously? I can't have adult beverages. I can't eat food. I'm trying to do this. And I'm like, I have to figure out something else to deal with it. For many, many months, I was able to come up with different strategies, right? To deal with it. And I was so proud of myself because that's something I'd never done. But then you slowly those decisions kind of creep away, right? You start making little decisions along the way. You go out with your friends, you're having fun, and those things start to come back. And sugar is addictive, right? Once you get it back in your life, you're like, it's the devil, really. It's the devil. So it's that. And I've done a lot of personal work with a therapist around it. I don't have any shame in saying I go to a therapist.
Love it. That's
sure my mother will be so proud that I said that out loud.
That's right. No, now there'll be some resistance. I'm proud of you for saying that out loud. Yeah, that's it.
That takes a lot of courage.
You speak like it does. You speak like someone that has been enlightened. And therapy is not the only way to be enlightened to these things. But yeah, when you start to say like you're aware of that, awareness is a huge first step. Now, I know Coach Joe here would probably say, and then we need to put some action behind it. But that's what the road that I see that you are on right now, because there's so many people that aren't even woken up to having the awareness that sort of thing happens. How much, as we move in here, and I'm going to highlight here in a second, guys, if you have questions, you have comments, I see what you're saying, Lydia. I see you, Trudy. Ashley, Diane, keep coming in with your questions and your comments. We are going to make sure that we get to them as we move on broadcast. And there is, again, stay on here if you guys can, because we're going to talk about some cool opportunities that we have coming up to where we can give you some more support around this stuff. But, you know, we talk about slaying shame, and I guess here's the thing, like, do you feel like right now that you need like some like that you and a lot of people out there probably could relate to this, that you've gained some of the weight back? Do you feel like it would continue to keep coming back, or that you're right now in a position, regardless of, meeting me tonight or talking with Joe tonight, that you were in a position to kind of stop that and reverse the trend?
I feel like I'm on like a slippery precipice, right? You're like, oh, you're like trying to get up, and then you slide down, and then you try and get up. So I don't, I would say no, I don't feel like I can necessarily do it alone. Although in the end, I am the person who has to do it, right? It's not going to be, you can have a great support system. And I do, like I have, as Joe said, I have very good friends that I've made from Cloud 10 that, we get up and we work out. And, if I say I ate something, they're like, really? I get a look. There's that part of it, but I know I have to stop it. Like in the end, it's up to me to make that change, but you have to be able to talk about it. And it's like an ever ending cycle, because you do it, like you asked me about it, Joe, like, do I think about it? Yeah, I think about it. And then I think about those pictures, and then I think about what Catrice is going to say, or you think about the people who don't like you and what they're saying, because they're like, look, see, she thought she was all that cuteness, and then look what's happening. Or there's the people who really do care about you and they don't know how to help you. So then you just like, you spin and spin and spin, and you're like, okay. And then you think, oh, but should I have a protein shake, or should I have the cake that Dr. Mondo is making you? So, and it's just keeps going, right?
Yeah, and see, these are the things, like, I think, like we talked about it on our pre-call, so much of our struggles, our fears, our anxieties, when we keep them in, they become a monologue in our head, and we always lead to the worst case scenarios in terms of what that all leads to, right? In terms of everyone is noticing our insecurities, and then the worst case scenario is going to come true. And so I think a huge first step is creating community where you could talk about this. Now, one of the cool things is that you guys already have a community at Cloud 10 where you guys include talking a lot about this. But, I know, Joe, for you, you have bigger plans about how you want to help your community, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's basically what this whole new rebranding is about. And for me, personally, I had to get to a point where people can actually walk up to my office and have a vulnerable conversation. I am tough, and I'll tell you the truth in a minute, but I also have to find a balance that everybody can't handle that. And that's something I have to come to grips with myself. That way I can be able to help more people. But this issue is super important to me. My goal is it's not about, again, yeah, I'm in business and we still have to, make capital gains. But the reality is that my goal has been to change as many people's lives as possible. Now, that means is that making sure they lose the weight, transform their body, and keep it off long term. And that's that is a point where we've come to where we want to take Cloud 10. That's what this whole rebrand is about. Like, people are comfortable being in Cloud 9. We want to make sure they get out of your comfort zone and find out there's another cloud all above there that they can actually enter. So that's Cloud 10.
I love that. And that's a big part of, again, you guys, just to kind of let you guys into the fold. I know Amy is aware of this, probably not really anyone else outside of Amy and Joe are in the know about this. But so with that rebranding, I know Cloud 10 is making a bigger commitment to you guys. And we're going to talk some more with Amy here before the end of tonight. But I just want to kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit on that. So I have an online program that supports people in their journeys to weight loss. And what I look for is that program's online, but I look for gyms that are really serious about transforming their community's lives, and they want to offer emotional support. And so what the program does, it specializes in rewriting your story So what is the story that you're telling about yourself right now? My belief and what I found in my research and the work with The Biggest Loser is that if you don't change the story that you're telling about yourself, it doesn't matter what number on the scale you see, you're going to revert back to something different because your story says that you're not worthy, that you're not lovable, that you don't believe it, that you don't deserve it, that you're not enough. So you have to rewrite your story. And it can be one of your journey or day 121 of your journey. It doesn't matter, but you have to do it. The second thing is that in order to be successful long-term, research shows you need to figure out what your relationship with food is really about. And, you know, I shared this on the broadcast last week with Joe. For me, I had to figure out I was a latchkey kid that went home to an empty house a lot and Hot Pockets and frozen burritos and pizza and McDonald's. I'm not trying to make you hungry, but those were my trigger foods. But it wasn't just that I was powerless to those trigger foods. It's that anytime that I felt anxious or lonely going home to that empty house, I found myself eating as a way to find comfort. So you need to rewrite your story, but you also need to renegotiate your relationship with food to be successful long term. Cloud 9 is knowing what it takes to lose the weight. Cloud 10 is learning how to keep it off. And part of what keeping it off at Cloud 10 is going to be about, and why Cloud 10 is now going to be, you know, partnering with drmondo.org and offering this program, is that they want to be able to give you the full palette of options to help support you in your journey. So it's not just about helping you with the physical transformation, it's also helping with the internal transformation. So, you know, tonight we're making a big announcement and we've kind of teased it out. Maybe you guys have guessed already what's happening, but we're not going to just offer this program to you guys the standard way we do, which is $345 for the 35 video lessons, the journal prompts, the podcasts. It's a big, extensive program that will help you rewrite your story. But Cloud 10 is going a step further, and they're actually Joe actually stepped up and he's actually paying. Joe, you're paying for a huge portion of each person. Yeah, so tell them more about what you're doing. Yeah.
So the program itself, Dr. Mondo's program, is roughly about $345. So for anybody that wants to do this program, I'm basically committed to paying $200 out of my pocket to make sure we get people that need the help so we can help the community. Yeah, you know, it's a lot of money, but I also have a commitment to my community for sure. You know, at the end of the day, my job is to serve the community in which we are a part of, and that's what I'm willing to do, and I'll make the sacrifice to make sure that happens. So, Dr. Mondo, I appreciate you doing this, and to my community, if you guys are still watching, I do care about you. I love you, and we're gonna do this the right way.
Yeah, and so I want you guys to understand again, what does that mean? It means that this program that is going to I have a program, it's online, video lessons, journal entry. It's all to help you. It's basically like you're getting me to be your therapist. The only difference is that you get to go at your own pace. You get to go through the lessons on your own time. And we have community built in through a private Facebook group. If you want to be a part of that, in addition to being a part of this amazing gym community, right now, Joe is basically saying it's normally $345. I'll pay $200. Just let my members pay the other $145. So in a little bit here, we're going to drop a link. If you guys are ready to get signed up, we are going to, always the thing is space is limited. And the reason why that is because we don't want to take on 100 people and then spread ourselves too thin. Joe and I really want to help people. So if you really are ready to rewrite your story, if you really know you struggle with comfort eating, if you struggle with emotional eating, if some of the weight's starting to come back on, this is your opportunity to get support. Be a part of the only gym, I'm telling you, because I know the gyms in that DC area. I've scouted them. There's no other gym that's offering emotional support by means of an online program like this. This is something that's brand new. And so again, if you're looking to sign up for the program, we're going to have Ashley drop the link in, but you can go ahead and get set up in that program, and we'd be so excited to have you join us. And so again, that program is going to be kicking off here at the end of the month. Joe, is this part of your bigger vision, including a program like this in everything that you're doing?
Oh, absolutely. It's a long-term and short-term vision because again, we have to be able to connect the mindset part of what we do. Again, you touched on it last week. As fitness professional, we don't have to ever have to feel like we're giving therapy to people because we're not qualified to do it. But we always want to find ways to make sure we can bridge the gap and make this awesome for our members. So this is definitely a big add to our community and also to our program. And so why not? I'm here. I'm involved. I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to change lives. This is bigger than just you and I. This we're trying to do because again, the growth of Cloud 10 is it's aggressive. So our goal is to try to change as many lives as possible. So we have to be able to bridge those gaps, and I'm so excited about it.
And I'm telling you guys, like, this is the future. You're looking at it right here. The future is someone who's saying, this is it. This truly looks like the future. I believe is going to look like a gym transformation center that helps people with the physical transformation, and a therapist, someone who helps with the emotional side, getting together and helping someone like Amy and go, hey, Amy, guess what? Like, we've only been treating for so long in our way of helping you. We've only been supporting you with just one element. There's another big element we're going to help you with, your mindset, and we're going to help you with your story, and we're going to help you understand your relationship with food. So this is the future, guys, of what's happening right now with how we're going to be treating obesity. I truly, firmly believe that we're going to be looking forward in 10 years or so and go, wow, there was a time when we didn't just do it this way. That's my goal and my mission. And that's why I'm so happy to found Joe. And, again, like Joe said, yeah, it's about getting people in the program. But I have a full practice here in Sacramento. I could close up shop with this online stuff and just be happy. But my ambitions, like Joe's, are to go far beyond that and to help as many people as I can, because I was the overweight kid growing up. I know what it was like to not have self-esteem and still lost the weight. And honestly, I know the shame that's associated with that. And when Amy talks about, some of what she's starting to realize, I remember when I first started realizing why I ate what I ate and starting to realize that Amy's on the precipice of something big. She's learning it. You guys can too. And the way she's doing it is she's pulling her car over on the side of the road and saying, I need to check what these dashboard indicator lights, this anxiety, some of this pain say, and I need to kind of spend some time with that and get some support. And she's being courageous and brave in doing that. And you guys can too. And now, again, Cloud 10 is going to offer this program. We're featuring right now on screen. You could see Ashley Cook has posted the link that you guys can sign up for. Don't worry, that link is in the comment section. You can click on it, sign up right now. But Amy, Joe said, if you're going to be so courageous, Joe says, I'll pay for 200 towards everyone's program to make it 145 for them, 149. But I'm going to pay for you. I'm just going to pay for your program. And actually,
That's right,
I'm going to take care of the rest of it. So this program for you is free. But yeah, like I'm wondering, how are you feeling about the program? Are you excited to get going with it?
I thought Joe was going to pay for private therapy with you myself. That's really what I thought he was going with.
Now listen, I'm going to let you two at the end. I'll put two of you on camera. You could talk about it.
I'm just messing with you.
Or
No, I'm
excited. Yeah.
I'm excited. I think that's going to be awesome. I look forward to meeting you next week when you come in to town. And
yes,
I do appreciate Joe doing that. I do. Joe loves me. I know. He doesn't like to admit it because I annoy him. But no, I do appreciate that, and he knows that too.
Yeah, I do. Amy is wonderful, man. I mean, there's nothing else I can say about Amy. She's goofy. She's funny. She's amazing. She's all of that.
Did you see her face? You said
that in one big cake.
You said goofy.
Yeah, one big cake.
Yeah, one big cake.
One big cake.
No. Hey, I want to point out too, Tracy Tolbert, who she's actually, I believe, at the Kansas City gym. I'm pretty positive about that. Tracy said, "Rewriting My Story is an awesome program," which I thank you so much for saying that. I now understand my relationship with food. I cannot tell you how happy that makes me. I definitely recommend the program.
She's with Wilson's gym.
Yeah, she's at Bar None Training Center, which is one of the other gyms in this country. They're in Kansas City. We went out there a couple months ago, got a chance to meet Tracy. And yeah, so, again, guys, I really feel like, and here's the other thing is that it's only a shameful story when you don't know the backstory. Like, you know, like when I just said to myself, or maybe Amy, you've been said, I don't know, I just like cake, or there's something wrong with me, or I'm going to take the 23andMe thing and figure out I got the cake gene, you know, like, you know, we all think these things. I got the carnitas gene because I'm half Mexican, so half of me really likes carnitas. Like when we start thinking like that, we feel powerless. And what I want to tell you is that the answer isn't to be harder on yourself. The answer is to have more compassion with yourself, is to figure out, why do you do the things that you do? And I guarantee, taken out of context, that you seem strange, but if I put your actions in context, it makes a lot of sense. And so why do we survive the way we survive? Some people's drug of choice is alcohol. Some of people's drug of choice is swiping left on Tinder. You know, everyone's got a different drug of choice. And what's your drug of choice? For me, for many years, it was food. And there's a lot of people right now that are listening that's saying it's my drug of choice too. Now, look, you can go be a social drinker right now, or you could swipe like crazy, and you'll be socially reinforced for that, right? But when it comes to being overweight, there's a lot of shame with that. So we need to help tell you that there's really no difference between any of those things. We need to make a point to be vulnerable and encounter our emotions. And our life can be so much better lived if we take the time to figure out, what am I really feeling? We pull the cart over to the side of the road and we take the time to figure out, what am I really feeling? And it's not running from those feelings, but embracing them and being able then to tend to those. And that's where you'll find this journey to rewriting your story. So, you know, all of that is what we are talking about. And that's why, you know, as you could see that we're getting fired up right now just talking about it, because this is what we want to help you with. And when I say you, I mean you, Amy. We're definitely going to help you with this. And I imagine you probably know some people at that 5 a.m. crew that we could help too, right?
I'm sure. Maybe 5 p.m. too.
Your name drop.
Those late night people.
Those late night people. Now you're speaking code language. You late night people know who you are.
No, I'm just joking. You know, we have early morning worker outers and evening worker outers.
I see. Yeah,
I'm just giving our community a little, you know, there's a little competition between the morning people and the evening people.
Healthy competition.
Yes.
Yeah, in a good way. So I was just giving them a little, you know, pushback.
A little shade. Okay.
Yeah. I was shading them. Yes, Joe, you're right.
Yes, you were shading them. So what do you, like, if you had to think about what in this program, is there any part of the program that you would say, I really need to have the answer to this, fill in the blank? Is there something that comes to mind? Like, I really hope the program helps me understand why I am an emotional eater, or how, you know, how some of the stuff growing up is actually linked to some of the things I'm seeing now with how I use food as a way to cope or feel safe or feel comfortable. Is there any questions that you really hope the program answers?
I think what you said were good. I guess my question would be, like, how can you be an intelligent person and know what you should do, and still make the decision not to do it? Because that disconnect is obviously clear, right? We do that in different parts of our lives, like you said. So if I know what I'm supposed to do, then why am I not doing it?
That's a great question.
And I mean, I'm trying to say that without being judgmental, but it comes across judgmental, right?
Why is it? I don't know the
judgmental on myself.
Oh,
like, I should know what to do. So then when I don't do it, then, you know, that circle begins, but that cycle begins again. But I'm just saying, like, why, if I know not to do it. Yeah.
I think here's the thing. I have a simple answer to that, and then I'll explain it more. The simple answer is that anything that cognitively we go, it's so simple. What am I missing here? Oftentimes there's an emotional piece of the puzzle that we're missing. So yeah, you know what to do. You know what to do. You know what you should do. So do I. So do all of us. So does everyone on this Facebook Live. But why do we not do that? Often there's an emotional component to it. So unfortunately, what we do is we try to stay in the you know, in our heads in finding the solution. So, oh my God, we you know, we get panicked. So, you know, we go, I know what to do, but I'm gaining weight. So, oh no, you know what it is? It's not, Joe's program isn't the one for me. There's this other gym and they do this other thing, or it's not this way of eating, it's that way of eating. And these are all staying in our heads. We never address really the emotional roots of what is really causing us to overeat. So there's a few things that you have to address, and the program will address it. One, what are your trigger emotions? So right now, if you identify, like I did, that my trigger emotions were anxiety and loneliness, for example, if you aren't doing something about addressing how you respond to anxiety and loneliness, if I had to learn new tools and new coping strategies on how to deal with being lonely. And part it was learning how to just be okay in that. Another part it was learning that I'm extroverted and I need to be around people. So being involved socially was so key. If not, I was going to eat for that. The other thing too is just realizing that, you know, in some ways, like you were saying before, that our relationship with food, that there are certain foods that put us in that pattern of wanting more and more food. Those are foods that cause the pleasure trap. So sometimes the foods we're eating are making it really confusing for us, because for some reason they're making us want to crave certain things that we don't even understand why we want to eat those things. And so it goes against our better judgment or our better vision for our lives. So again, I think the short answer is that if some of you really know what to do, but you struggle to do that in which you know what to do, chances are there's an emotional component that you haven't yet addressed. The other thing is this: maybe you just straight up don't fully, like, some people really like the idea. I have a shirt, which I'll bring out there to our live event. And we haven't told you much about that. I'll get to that in a minute, guys. We're doing a live event out in DC. If you want to come be a part of it, it's actually a week from tonight. We'd love to have you there. We are going to fire up everyone and talk more about it. And you'll see this t-shirt. This t-shirt says some of these statements about rewriting your story, that we want you to go. We want you to believe you're worthy. We want you to believe you're stronger, that you're not defined by the number on the scale. Amy, you could go, you know what, I agree with all of that in my head, but do you really agree with it in your heart? That's where the disconnect happens. So in order for you to be successful, you could say all day long, I believe everyone's worthy of love, but do I really actually feel it? And if you don't, we have to work on helping instill that into you, pour that into you, so that when you get to the finish line of whatever it is for your transformation, that you believe that you're worth it to keep it going, or you're worth it to keep doing whatever you have to do to maintain all the hard work and the results that you put in. So, you know, again, I think those are things that I'm confident in saying. Again, if you guys are interested in this program, this is all stuff that we can absolutely help you address. And again, you know, we have a link that we have here below that we'll have Ashley post again. So there's two things that we want you guys to keep to be looking out for, or if you're ready to act on. This is kind of like our altar call, so to speak. So right now, if you are feeling struck by the spirit of shame, then you need to reach out right now, and I say do two things, not one of two. Do two things. Here's the first thing: you need to follow this link below, and you need to go sign up. Tonight, Joe is willing to say anyone that's watching this broadcast, he will pay for $200 worth of your program right now. He's going to pay for it. You pay for the rest. You pay the $145. That gets you access to the whole program to help you rewrite your story. And then the other thing is that after you go ahead and sign up for that program, the other thing you can do is we are going in person, and I'm going to be there next week to meet Amy. And that's how important you are, Amy, is that we're going to fly out there to meet you, and I have my team out there. We're going to have a chance to get to really experience the true essence of Amy in person, and just basically be there to be on your team and support you. But we're also going to be doing a talk, and Joe, you can give more information about the talk, but the talk's going to be coming up a week from tonight.
Right. So we have what we call the Slay the Shame event on May 21st, right here in Laurel. At 7 p.m. We're closing down shop. This is how big this is. We're closing down our 6 p.m. classes, our 7 p.m. classes, specifically for this event. And as you guys already know, I put a lot of skin in the game. So it would be shameful if you don't take this offer. You know, I'm putting a lot of sacrifice in the game, a lot of skin in the game. So take advantage of it. The event is May 21st at 7 p.m. at our lower location. So please, if you haven't seen the event, I'll post it again, but we're expecting a lot of people. Take action, take massive action, and secure your spot.
And they get to meet me. I mean, what else could you want? What else?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, at this point, I don't know what else you could possibly look for. Now, there's questions on the screen that I'm going to bring up here. Someone says, Lydia saying, how long is the program? The program is going to last for 8 weeks through the gym. So basically what the gym, you could take the longer to do the program, but the program has 8 stages that you're going to go through. It also has some new video content that we've never introduced to anyone. And you guys are going to be the first people to get it. It's going to be those I am statements I just talked about, and really teaching you how to unlock those I am statements to make it more than just something you believe in your mind, but actually believe in your heart. Mm-hmm. So it's going to have all of that. And you have 8 weeks to go through that program, and we're going to be right there. Everyone's going to do it as a group. It's going to be something fun that the gym can participate in. You could be, there's some exercises that we'll have you do, and you're going to be, throwing up the hashtag rewriting my story. And, you could be showing everyone that you're a part of something different and big. And so yeah, the program's 8 weeks, but you can, take longer to do the program if need be. Someone else said,
can I ask you a question? Dr.
Yeah,
Mondo,
yeah.
I'm sorry. Joe, is it open just for Cloud 10 members or anybody in the DMV?
Great question. Everybody in the DMV, take advantage of it. Okay, so this is out to the community, not just the Cloud 10 community, but surround. So everyone in the DMV, bring your family, your friends. This is huge. So come in and be a part of this.
Now, Joe, great question on that, and we haven't ironed this out, but so I'm going to put you on the spot here. So if someone wants to show up to this event, they're allowed to show up to this event next Monday night. Everyone can show up to hear it.
Everyone can show up. Hopefully, we have a pack house, obviously, but I think we can make this happen. 7 p.m. First come, first serve. We will have some chairs, but if you come in late, you can stand. But it's really. I think Ashley just posted a link to the event. Sign up. Don't just sign up and say I'm interested. If you're really coming, just say I'm coming. Be firm with it. We want information that you're really coming. And you really want to be a part of this. So, yeah. Yeah,
and what to expect this night, guys, is basically you're going to learn from me some of the keys of what makes you successful long-term at changing your mindset. And I worked with former contestants. The NBC is The Biggest Loser. I've studied people who are successful long-term. We're going to talk about that. But I think you need more than just information. You need empowerment. I feel like I'm at my best when I'm in front of a group of people, being able to really speak to your hearts and encourage you, and really not just leave you with empty encouragement, but also give you some tools to walk away with. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to empower you. What I want someone who's barely left the house for anything more than work to show up to the gym. Whether you go to that gym or not, I want someone that's only put on sweatpants. You wear your sweatpants. I'll wear mine. I want you, if you've only put on those sweatpants, to go through a drive-through. And I'm only telling you that because I've been through it myself. If that's the only reason that you're getting up, I want you to just stroll in. And if you are saying to yourself, there's no way I could show up because I feel so self-conscious, I definitely want you to show up because I have been in your shoes. We understand. All three of us get what that feeling is. And we want to be there to have a community that empowers and encourages one another to be strong. Now, like Coach Joe said, you have to put the work in, right? But first, what we need is to all know we're in solidarity. We're all together on this. We want to be different. This fitness community right now, Cloud 10 Gym, wants to be different than the other gyms and transformation centers in the area. Now, they already have a different community, but they want to take it to the next level. They want to take it from Cloud 9 to Cloud 10. And part of doing that is by offering a night for everyone to come together and be empowered. So again, folks, you don't have to sign up for the program tonight. We would encourage you to do so. I don't know how many $200 credits Joe's going to give out. If you want to sign up for the program, I highly suggest doing that right now. But on top of that, come out to the event Monday. You'll meet me. You'll have a chance to hear more about what this program is all about. And you are going to leave empowered. We are going to help you figure this thing out long term. Say goodbye to yo-yoing on the scale. Say goodbye to shame. This is about rewriting your story and helping you keep the weight off for good. But it's about more than that. It's about making this journey bigger than weight loss. It's not just about weight loss. Everyone wants to lose weight to feel better, look better, and unlock to live for so long. And so that's what this is really about. It's an opportunity to live out your best life. So I don't know, Joe, are you fired up for next Monday night?
I'm so fired up. I'm so fired up. And anyone out there, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't feel free to shoot me a message, a Facebook message. and I'll be willing to answer all your questions. But I'm really, really fired up. And if you're a former member of Cloud 10, if you're out there watching this, and if you have any reservation about actually coming because you feel shame, please don't. We're here to help. So show up so we can show out. We're going to help a lot of people, and we want you to be a part of it.
Yeah, now I'm going through some comments. There's some people, I'm so glad that you said that. We need to hear it. And again, all of you have an internal, Amy has an internal Joe in her mind right now. And this internal Joe says, oh, you know, Joe's going to be mad for this, or Joe's going to be mad, or my trainer's going to be mad. We all create these negative storylines. Some of you right now are thinking that Joe's scary and Joe's going to shame you and Joe's going to yell at you and Joe's going to say,
absolutely not. I'm on Cloud 10 right now.
You.
I'm on Cloud 10 right now.
Joe's going to hug you.
Joe's not a hugger. Joe's not a hugger, but he's going to high five you.
No, if that's what it takes.
Will you hug?
I'll hug. Definitely.
Joe and I are going to have the first part of next Monday is going to be a hugging workshop. I'm such a hugger that I'm going to have a hugging workshop with Joe. And then after the hugging workshop, Joe's going to hug all of you. So Joe, don't worry. We're going to work on it.
No, it's not. Let's be clear about something. It's not that I love to hug. It's just there are some boundaries you don't cross for members. That is really all it is.
Now you make me feel bad, Joe. Now I feel bad for that.
Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad.
I've been in this business a long time.
You're right. Joe's smart. Joe's a hugger.
I've been in this business a long time. And I've seen a lot of things. So
that's right. That's right.
Just being cautious. That's all it is.
So yeah. So if you are willing to come on Monday night and you need a high five or a consensual fist bump or hug, Joe's up for it. And I'll tell you what, I got tons of hugs, fist bumps, high fives, whatever you need. We'll see you out there. One of the people that have been so active tonight, and I want to just thank her so much right now for sharing this. And I'm not sure if I could show it on screen. I can. Thank you so much, Davina. It takes up a lot of the screen, so I'm gonna read it for a minute. But she says, "How do you deal with being discouraged? My body began to fail me. I stopped working out. I started making bad food choices." Folks, we call that a slippery slope. How many people can relate to that? Give me a wow if you can. Give me a wow right now on the screen if you can. Wow. My body began to fail me. I stopped working out. I started making bad food choices. I gained all my weight back. You are not alone. You better hear that right now, Davina. Thank you so much for reaching out tonight. So in doing flag and not being able to work out any mistake, I make shows on the scale. So that low margin of error, right? I get my motivation to keep going by seeing results. Not being able to work out, not seeing the results I've seen when I work out is so discouraging. So look. So
the flag is our fat loss accountability program. That's what she's referring to. Yeah.
And that's something that you guys are offering with all of this.
It's actually part of it. Yep. So we're throwing a lot of things. Take advantage of it.
Yeah. So they're throwing that in with the Rewriting My Story program. So that's another. I mean, again, guys, like, there's just a lot of stuff that's going to be included in what we're trying to do. We're trying to give you guys everything you can to be successful. But she's talking about the flag program. Look, I think one of the most difficult things is when you are in a position where you can't work out or you can't move a whole lot or the scale's not moving, but you're putting the work in. It's so discouraging. But it's more reason why you have to untangle your self-worth and your self-esteem from the number on a scale. Now, listen to me closely. It still sucks. I don't care how much you love yourself. If you can't get some weight off and you want to get some weight off, it sucks. If you can't move and just get those endorphins flowing, it sucks. But hear me when I say, it can suck on one hand, but part of why we struggle so much is that for some of us, flat out, if we don't see who we want to see in the mirror, we don't see that number on a scale, we hate ourselves. Forget love. We hate ourselves. So you have to untangle. I'm not saying you, Davina. I'm saying all of us need to really work on untangling our self-esteem and our self-worth from the number on a scale. It's in times like this we can really work on it. So I say right now, Davina, if you're in a spot that you can do this program, I really hope that you do take this opportunity to do this program. Work on rewriting your story. It's only going to make the rest of your journey fall into place. So right now, put in the work on rewriting your story, even if it's hard to do the physical transformation part. I've seen so many people do this work and then go and they lose the weight, whether it's for the first time, the second time, third time, and keep it off for good because now they have a new story about themselves. And so when they hit the highs and the lows, the scale jumps up a little. They don't freak out and panic as much because they're really clear on who they are. And again, I hope that gives you an answer to your question. And thank you so much for that. Once you realize your story, Davina says, then what do you do with that to change your story? Yeah, so realizing it's one thing, right? It's one thing to realize that you struggle with self-worth. It's one thing to realize that your entire life you've been a people pleaser, that you've been an overextender. It's another thing to actually dig in and learn how to make those changes. So I really do believe that in the program, you're going to find that. You know, we talk about things like, how do you have hard conversations with people? So maybe you've been a people pleaser your whole life. We actually give you a template for having hard conversations with people to reorganize your relationships with them. If you realize I eat for when I'm sad, what do I do with that? Well, we actually give you tools to practice that you can now practice when you feel sad or when you feel depressed or anxious or lonely. So you can actually change your story and your relationship to food. So everything that you're looking for, I know I'm very, very confident that we can help you out with. There's Jai says, I wish this was available to my 13-year-old self. Will this will also be offered to children? So I could tell you from my standpoint, that, you know, the program is some deep, heady stuff, emotional stuff. I think teenagers could probably definitely handle it. But yeah, Joe, if there's some members out there that want to have their kids do it.
That's a great question. That is something, again, going back to changing, you know, kind of changing the way we operate as a community. So we're doing a lot of things behind the scenes that they don't see yet because we haven't perfected it. And that's one of the things we've been talking about. Is actually our current members, if they have kids between the ages of 13 and 17, they can actually come to the gym for free membership. We're giving away, if you have kids from age 13 to 17.
I feel like you've got to say that again. Like
it's not finalized yet. That's the reason why we haven't posted anything, but it's something we're working on, because obviously there's got to be some rules involved to make sure the kids are safe. But this is something we're really, really working on diligently, and we'll present it to you as soon as we finalize it and make it. So we're really excited about that. I think because our community definitely deserve it, and we want to make it a family thing. So that's all about the community, because you have to get a family involved, and that's what Cloud 10 is all about.
I love it. I love it. Yep. And so yeah. And you know, here's the other thing that's really cool too, is that sometimes, you know, we were joking earlier about giving out hugs, but sometimes we need to go back and love on and hug on that little kid that gets activated. You know, I could go off on that for a while. I don't know if Amy, if you're familiar with parts work, but it's like, there's a little 10-year-old inside of me that sometimes still feels like I'm going home to that empty house on certain days. And so sometimes you need to kind of go back and really do some healing with some things from the past, right?
Or you're asking me?
I'm saying, yeah, right?
Oh, yeah, I mean, no, for
sure. I mean,
for sure. Because I had something happen recently, and it like triggered. I was like, because I felt like a failure about something, and I was like, and then it was this, and then this, and this, and this. I'm like, oh my goodness, and I could tie it back to something from when I was little, and I was like, this is ridiculous. Not ridiculous, but you just understood the connection for it, and it doesn't go away unless you take care.
And we have to start writing this story from a younger age.
Yeah,
that's the root of it. And so being able to open our community up to our members and your kids is definitely something we're definitely proud about that, and we're excited about it.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And I think, you know, and that's the thing, is that some of you guys have kids right now, and you're wanting to really rewrite your story and rewrite their story too. And even if you don't have kids, that's one thing that people sometimes I think get too hung up on, because a lot of times in the program we talk about defining your why, and people go, oh, do I have to have kids, or have to? No, you just need to be clear on what your values are for how you want to live your life, regardless of whether it's having kids or no kids. But, you know, there's people around you that we all want to impact. And so you need to be the leader of that, and not just the leader with the weight stuff and the health, but really the leader in being vulnerable and really taking the courageous step like Amy has tonight to share her story. And so that's what we need to do. And we could do that right now simply by making changes that we're talking about tonight. There's one other thing I want to say here too. I know there's a lot of people that are commenting on here. There's a lot of wows on here, and I know that was from earlier when we asked about those wow. But the people sometimes get into this. Is this program only for people that have who are still struggling right now? And the reality is no. I saw a comment here from Michelle Reed, and Michelle, her comment was, I was at 328 pounds. Now I'm 182 pounds. That's incredible.
Wow, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's amazing, right? That's crazy. Wow. So she's got a question for Joe, which I'm going to let Joe take. But first, I'm going to say, Michelle, the program can still be helpful for you. There's people that have lost the weight, but still there's more work they want to do on rewriting their story, and there's more they want to figure out to be successful. So the program's for anyone, but she's got a question about tightening her tummy. So that sounds like a trainer question. What would you say to that, Joe?
I'll say this, that there's always a goal to be met. That's a fact. Wherever you are in your fitness journey, there's always a goal to be met. The moment you realize that, that's when this becomes a lifestyle. Because for some people, as soon as they hit the goal weight, that's it for them. But there's always something that you can do beyond that. But to answer your question as far as your tummy, I mean, that's something we definitely can help you with that. And there's a lot of tangible ways to do it. So it's not just about the nutrition alone. And also you can't do targeted training. So it has to be one of those things where it's a complete solution to working out and nutrition. So we can definitely help you with that for sure.
Awesome. And look, guys, there's some people that are giving us a heads up about, I think, some of those links or the link to get signed up for the program. There's a lot of people right now that are on the page, and so I'm not sure if something happened with the link. We may have crashed the site. I don't know. Don't worry. Joe and I will figure that out. But if you guys are having problems right now accessing that link, bookmark it or keep it in an open tab and come back to it. You can sign up at the gym, but again, I would really hope. I don't know how many people Joe's going to be. I don't know if 400 people show up. Joe's paying $200. That's a lot of. Anyway, I'm not a math major. I don't want to be for him.
I'm done.
So anyway, yeah. So anyway, you need to make sure that you sign.
I won't have a story to rewrite after that.
No, you won't. Yeah, you'll be writing a whole new story. Yeah. But anyway, guys, make sure if that link's not working, you can go and sign up in person at the gym tomorrow or anytime this week. But I would suggest just coming back to that link. We'll make sure it works. Don't worry. It'll be in no time. It should work again. But that link gets you signed up. And once you're signed up, you're in. Your spot is secure. And then as far as the event goes, just make sure that you RSVP to that. Let us know that you're going to be there. And I'll tell you what, like Joe, if we can get a lot of people RSVPing to that event, we'll do a lot of fun stuff, right? I mean, it's already gonna be a fun night, but we can do some crazy stuff. Yeah,
I'm really excited about it. We're prepping ourselves for it, so it should be an amazing event.
Yep. So I'm so excited. Again, you guys, go ahead and continue to bookmark that link. I know that people are talking about that on there. The consensus I'm getting is that there's people out there that are resonating with this message. If there's anyone that you know that might potentially benefit from tonight's episode, this special edition of Rewriting My Story, this Facebook Live event, if there's anyone that you know that can benefit from that, then go ahead and please do share this broadcast. But go a step further, share the link, and that link will be active, and let people know that Joe has stepped up and he's willing to help you out. And you can sign up at that link to join my program. Again, be certain that you go to that link, because if you go to my webpage, it's $345. There's no coupon code. There's nothing like that to get any discount. If you want the Joe hookup, you got to go through Joe to get the program. Joe's got the club.
Yeah, we'll figure out exactly what happened to the link, and we'll get it right to you. But again, feel free to message me, and I'll have Trudy get on it and fix that link and get it to you as soon as possible.
Yep. So again, guys, anything I should know about the DC Baltimore area before I come out there? I already learned from Joe that he reps DC harder than Baltimore.
I'm a DC guy. I grew up in Montgomery County, so that's just like a a border between DC and Maryland. So,
okay.
Absolutely, there's nothing wrong with Baltimore. We have this healthy competition. That's really all it is. There's nothing wrong with Baltimore.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Baltimore. I'm still making him. He's gonna have to clear some things up. There's nothing wrong with Baltimore,
and I do like Cloud 10 will be coming there soon, but brace yourself.
Oh, there you go.
Very soon.
Brace yourself.
We're working on it. All right. The gym that you'll be coming to is in Laurel, Maryland, which is about 25 minutes away from Baltimore, give or take. So it's not that far.
Why is she looking like that?
The way I drive.
It's a little further than that, Joe.
It's really not.
Okay, Joe. During rush hour?
How far is it? Yeah, if you consider that.
Yeah.
How far is what?
Like 40 minutes away. I'm talking about downtown Baltimore.
And how far is it from DC?
I'll give it about 30 minutes.
It's closer to DC than downtown.
Without traffic, you can get to DC in 15 minutes from Laurel.
Oh, wow.
No, why are you telling stories? You can't even get from where I live in Montgomery County to Laurel in 15 minutes.
I've done it before. So I know.
I've done it before.
I was flying, but that's another story.
I want to download the Waze, Waze you can download different voices. The Joe, yeah. Hurry up. Now gun it a little bit. Joe will get you there to your destination in less than 10 minutes. He'll shave 10 minutes off whatever Google Maps says.
But no, with rush hour, I'll give it 30 minutes. You'll be all right.
All right, we'll be good. I'm going to make sure that when I'm there, guys.
I'm sure you're used to the California traffic, so you'll be fine.
That's right. Yeah. So we'll be good. But when I'm there, we are going to do our best to get this word out. So Joe and I got some big plans right now. We're going to be reaching out. If anyone is affiliated with the media outlets, they're going to be notified as of tomorrow morning of what's happening in this partnership and this program and this live event that we'll have next Monday night. So if you know of anyone that you think would be interested in being able to help get this message out there, you could do it by sharing it with people. The other thing is, if you know anyone that you think is influential and can get this story to be told on some local media, by all means, the word will be going out tomorrow. But our goal is to get the entire region to be excited about an opportunity to take part in something brand new that no one else is doing, which is combining, again, proven, effective means of really managing your weight and pairing that with effective means to really help rewrite your story and treat the emotional side of things. So that's brand new. That's a brand new thing to the area. And we're so excited to get it going. So, with that, guys, I'm so excited, and I'm going to be seeing you guys, it looks like in just about a week. So about a week from today, I'll be out there. I can't wait.
May 21st, 7 p.m., Cloud 10 Laurel.
That's right. That's right. We have more info on the event down below. We have the link to sign up for the Rewriting My Story program. Don't go to my website. Go to Joe's hookup. Joe's going to take care of you and get signed up for the program. And we have more details that will be coming on that. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. We'll go back. We'll make sure we get to them. And again, guys, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much, Joe and Amy, for joining us here tonight. Amy, have a great night. I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. You've been
outstanding. We appreciate you. Thank you.
No problem. I look forward to meeting you two next week, too. I will. I got to get up in 5 hours, so I need to go to sleep.
Oh, well, then you better go.
Yeah, you got to go work out.
Yeah, I know.
Joe's got a special route for you to get there quick. You could probably sleep anywhere.
I could just teleport. Whoa, I'm there.
Yeah, Joe's got you. Don't worry.
We got you.
Have a good night, Amy.
Thank you, Amy. You are amazing.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Amy and Joe. Again, man, I'm just pumped up. I'm really excited for a chance to come out there. Are we going to work out a little bit when I'm out there?
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Man, I don't know. We'll find out.
We can do it. We can throw down.
Wilson put me through a crazy one. Wilson put me through a crazy. But he said
Wilson is crazy.
He's crazy. I don't know if it's as crazy as Joe, though. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, no.
Get a workout in. And then, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll figure out all the details of what's going to happen when we're there, and yeah, I'll as soon as we hang up here, just hang out a little bit longer in the chat, and we'll talk a little bit more before the night's over. But again, I want to thank Joe so much for being here tonight, and Cloud 10 Gym. Guys, it's just been such a fun time hanging out with you guys. I'm Dr. Mondo. Again, if you're new to me. I have a Facebook page that you can like, Dr. Mondo. It's slash the Dr. DRMONDO on Facebook. We'll drop a link into that in the comments below as well. I do a broadcast every Tuesday night, so that's tomorrow, where I'll be interviewing people about their weight loss transformations. And that's just to get you more encouragement, inspiration. Everything on that page is just to inspire you. And again, tonight was more of a unique thing that we got to do, which is where we got to actually talk to someone who is a perfect person for us to help support in their journey with the program. And she's a member of Cloud 10 Gym. Cloud 10 is one of the only exclusive affiliates that we have in the country that is doing this program of rewriting my story. And their gym owner is cool enough to pay for over half of the cost to let people get into that. So again, the only way to get into that is through that special link. Even if it doesn't work right now, it'll work. Do not worry, and sign up on that link or sign up at the gym if you're a member there or if you go there. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Tune in tomorrow night for another episode of Rewriting My Story with Dr. Mondo. And again, you guys, it's not the size of the step, it's a direction that counts. Tonight, just by watching this broadcast, you are moving in a different direction. Realize this stuff matters. And by making a priority, you can rewrite your story. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you guys in the DC, Baltimore area very, very soon. In fact, a week from tonight, I will see you all in person. So make sure that you show up, show out, and share this event. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great night.